When we picture the Ramayana today, we see a cinematic spectacle. Glowing arrows tear through the sky, and demigods wield magic against multi-headed shadows. Our memory gravitates toward the iconic duels: Rama facing Ravana, Lakshmana locked in combat with Indrajit, Hanuman striking down powerful Rakshasa commanders. These heroic encounters are central to the tradition, but they create a specific historiographical lens. Individual heroes do not win wars on their own. A successful campaign requires a level of organizational discipline that transcends raw firepower or divine weaponry. By focusing strictly on the kings and the divine duelists, we filter out the operational reality of the battlefield. We miss the invisible commanders who held the army together across every front. The Lanka campaign was a massive logistical nightmare. Thousands of unnamed soldiers found themselves stranded far from home, facing terrifying odds against a heavily fortified enemy. A fractured force of this size would collapse without middle-tier commanders. The army required leaders whose primary job was maintaining discipline across a massive, disparate force. Angada of Kishkinda served as the organizational backbone of the Vanara forces. He carried an immense weight of responsibility, organizing entire sections of the battlefield while the celebrated duelists focused on their individual targets. The survival of the Vanara army relied on a network of trust and unity that the firepower of a few heroes could not provide. The Vanara army fought at a severe disadvantage. The Rakshasa defenders possessed immense physical strength, frequently deploying psychological illusions to disorient their attackers. These encounters took a heavy psychological toll on the Vanara forces. Casualties mounted, and fear became a constant presence in the ranks. To manage this crisis, Angada relied on the mentorship of the veteran Jambavan. Jambavan had witnessed countless conflicts, understanding that courage without patience quickly becomes recklessness. Angada internalized these lessons. Amidst the chaos of the campaign, he transitioned from an impulsive fighter to a steady, calculated leader. On the ground, he projected absolute calmness. He refused to retreat from collapsing lines, actively guiding younger, panicked warriors through the worst of the fighting. The true defense against a technologically and magically superior force is psychological resilience, forged by steadfast, visible leadership. In the context of this campaign, Dharma functioned as a strict military doctrine, representing ultimate self-control and structural discipline. The Vanara forces began as scattered warriors, but under Angada snapped into a rigid phalanx. The formation protected vulnerable positions, adapting in real time to Rama's strategy. This cohesion relied on trust. Soldiers held the line, believing in the commanders beside them. Lanka's defenders eventually realized they were no longer fighting a wild mob, but an unbreakable architecture of loyalty. Angada's strategic victory was the conversion of wild, scattered energy into a disciplined military machine. When the mighty Kumbhakarna fell, followed by Indrajit, and finally Ravana, a heavy silence settled over Lanka. The royal reunion was a moment of joy, but the surviving commanders bore the weight of the campaign's immense cost. The young prince who once lived beneath his father Vali's shadow had disappeared. In his place stood a commander respected by kings and trusted by Rama himself. With the alliance between Ayodhya and Kishkinda fulfilled, the exhausted but victorious army prepared to return to their home in the mountains. The brutal crucible of the Lanka campaign finalized the forging of a true leader out of a forgotten child. As peace returned, Angada stepped back out of the spotlight. He never sought historical fame or demanded grand titles for his role in the victory. As the centuries passed, one of the Ramayana's greatest young heroes slowly faded from popular memory. This is the nature of a specific kind of leadership. It is measured by the quiet confidence it builds in others, which often leaves little for historians to record. Questions remain about what happened to Angada after the war ended, and whether he ever took the throne of Kishkinda. History frequently celebrates the kings, but kingdoms survive because of the individuals who faithfully serve a cause greater than themselves.